Students of Graphic Era deemed to be university are delighted to host today's session for you. Our next book launch for today is by Miss Mona Verma and it's called The Scent of Himalayas Stories from the Mystical Mountains. This captivating novel weaves together culture and mysticism, set against the majestic backdrop of the Himalayas through characters who are deeply connected to the region's rich tradition and natural beauty. Ms. Mona Verma, an alumnus of Lady Sri Ram College, Delhi University, with a post graduation certificate from Harvard Business School, is an award winning author of 9 books and over a dozen anthologies. She co owns Tisha, serves as a mentor at Womenovator, and is a co founder of the literary initiative House of Harmony. We congratulate you, ma'am, on this wonderful book and welcome you to the celebration of the written word. Kindly take your seat on the stage.
Our chair for this session would be Mr. Manoj Barthwal, an author and former executive director of ONGC. With over 37 years of experience in leading knowledge based manpower and aligning human resource with business requirements and vision, Sir has been a part of the Valley of Words since its inception. We welcome you, sir. Kindly take your seat. Please give them a huge round of applause.
Chip.
Lastly, I would like to call our chief discussant on the stage, Pooja Marva. Ma'am has curated content in the field of PR, technology, gaming, construction, law, finance, and wellness. Her frequent columns are widely appreciated. Actively involved with the Prabha Khaitan Foundation, Ma'am's oration skills have made her a speaker at leading literature festivals. Ma'am, we welcome you to the dais. Please give them a huge round of applause. Welcome all. Please unveil the book by opening the ribbon. And here's The Scent of Himalaya, stories from the mystical mountains. Now, I would like to request the discussant to take the session forward.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and especially dear children. Welcome to this session on the scent of Himalayas. Well, I am from the Garhwal region, and I heard many folklores. I grew up in Pauri and Joshimath and Dharchula, and then we moved to the plains. But we heard a lot of stories, and Monaji has compiled some of them, and to my surprise, some of them I had not even heard of, so she has taken pains to do that. But well, before we start the discussions, and before I introduce both of them, a couple of things, especially because a lot of children are here. I was hearing Elon Musk. You have all heard of Elon Musk, and he says that the next he's after all a tech giant, and he says that we are going to have something like universal basic salary because most of the jobs, the current jobs, are going to be taken by robots and AI and things like that. So that's a pointer for you, especially when these routine jobs are taken over by robots and AI. What are you left with? You are left with storytelling. You are left with imagination. You are left with skills. You have the presentation and the things that the machines cannot do. So that's point number one. Point number two, there is a guy called Scott Galloway. He is the professor of marketing in New York University. And he says that technical, same, like he's reinforcing what Elon Musk said, that storytelling is going to be the most important thing in the future. Routine jobs will be taken over by AI and can be done by computing and the machine learning and things like that. Now, since a lot of children are here, I'll tell you something personal. I got a request from a psychologist, Vaishnavi Roy, that, sir, we are compiling some stories about mental well-being. Would you like to write? मैंने कहा आप लोग सब बच्चे लोग मैंने तो कभी ज़्यादा वो नहीं किया. कहते नहीं sir, you write. So I contributed a story about mental well-being. It's called Unwind. The compilation is called Unwind, and it has been honored on different forums. And Vaishnavi was given an award by Shabana Azmi. Now the point is, these are a compilation of 30 stories of mostly of girls who were on the verge of committing suicide. And all of them have said that the moment they started writing and expressing themselves, there was a feeling of, liberation. There was a feeling that you have expressed themselves. So all of you who are feeling, these are the times when we are facing extreme pressures of jobs, pressures of competing. Somebody wants to join IIM, then IIT, and then you want to be amongst top 10 and take up job with McKinsey and things like that. It's very stressful. Where do you find relief? You find relief in storytelling. You find relief in expressing yourselves. And that's what Monaji has done. So let me introduce Monaji, first of all, to all of you. Both of them are friends, so I'll tend to get straight. So I'll read a formal introduction.
No, so don't read us a formal introduction.
All right,
Since you know us, why don't you put that paper down and just impromptu say what you know?
All right. So Monaji, when I was heading academy, she wanted to conduct some training programs. That's how, I think I was in Delhi, heading Delhi office of ONGC. She walked in and she said that we would like to do something. That time I had, I was in a different role. But when I moved to ONGC Academy and she approached for conducting some programs, she along with the general manager, Mr. Khali, Mr. Hali, they conducted excellent training programs for ONGC on soft skills. So that's how I know her. And then we got involved in WOW and story writing and book reading sessions and all. And I see her all over, on the social media. Sometimes she's in Jaipur, sometimes she's being awarded and
Omnipresent.
Omnipresent. And so is Pooja ji, because she's extremely visible. Now we are involved in, we are partners in crime. We are going to launch something called Crime Literature Festival of India on 29th of this month, and it's going to be great because Mr. Prakash Jha is coming. Abhinav Sinha, who made IC 814, he's going to come. A lot of journalists and senior police officers. The guy who killed Veerappan, all these. So it's a different genre altogether. So we are going to be there, and she has been with various known. She is a brand ambassador for 4 Fortune 500 leaders. And she's all over. She's writing columns and contributing to. She has been felicitated by Femina also. Yeah. And I think with that, I'll hand over the session to you, Pooja ji, and both of you. Take it forward, or and then maybe I've read the book, so maybe I'll have a word or two to say in between somewhere.
Did I put you in a spot there, Manoji? With leave your paper, did it feel like you were a student again to say, put the paper down and say? No, but thank you so much for the lovely introduction for both of us. And what I want to say is a big, big shout out to WOW, because I think both of you will agree with me when I say that writing is a very solitary process. So when festivals like this happen, it makes you step out, dress up, of course. I know Mona here literally planned her entire day and had her mother-in-law tell her that, Aaj kahan ja rahi ho? You're wearing such a lovely sari and jewelry. And she says, today I want to go. I want to dress up and go because it's fun. You're meeting people. You're getting to know what the other people are doing. You're talking to students. You're talking to audience. It's just a very fun, interactive place to be at. So big, huge shout out to WOW for that. And before we begin, can we please have a round of applause, especially for Mona, because this book is now in its 4th print run already. So many, many, many congratulations. Such an amazing feat this is. So your daughter, Sanjana, wrote one of your books, right? Daivya Sutra with you. Why didn't you want her to partake in this one?
Thank you for that wonderful question. So, first of all, I begin by honoring and paying my respects to Sanjeev Chopra sir. Thank you for having me here yet again. And I'm in very erudite company of the lovely Pooja and the very dapper and erudite Manoj Barthwal sir. There's something that you held back, and my mother-in-law asked me that the other sari was hanging. Why did you wear this one? I said, she's so lovely. He's so dapper. I don't want to come across as a street urchin right there amongst them. This is actually what I said, and you didn't say. Anyway, coming back to
That was your story to say, not mine.
so anyway, so with Sanjana, actually the Deva Sutras, the earlier book, that was written during the COVID times because there were 24 stories from the 18 Mahapuranas. They required whole lot of research, and both my children, now 29 and 26, they both were at home, and I had that Rahu and Ketu hovering over my head all the time. So the moment I would go up to my office and just punch one key on my laptop, somebody would open the door and say, so what is new that we are experimenting in the kitchen today? Apart from that, if I would go to their room and scream and shout at them, they would never hear me. Suddenly I was invisible and inaudible. So it was during the COVID times that actually I just thought, let me streamline their energies, and Utsav did the cover of that book, and Sanjana helped me research. But it was post COVID that then she went to do her master's in international business to Warwick Business School and took a job thereafter. And she also realized that book writing is actually serious business. And
Yes, it
so
is.
she thought that one was enough.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. But yes, it is. You know, to take on to what you said, Manoji, about storytelling. AI will take over so many jobs, but storytelling is what is true to us. And I think somewhere this book really does hold true because it takes us back to when we were young. We all grew up to stories, to whatever our parents, grandparents told us. And that's what I love about this book. Honestly speaking, I'm going to be absolutely candid here, Mona. Do not hate me. But when I started, I said folk tales. I wonder what that's going to be. It's going to be the same old, But when I opened it, I absolutely loved it because there's so much humor. For all of you who love to read, even if you don't like to read, you need to pick this up just for laughs, along with all the wisdom and gyan that will come. Because okay, so I'm going to not interrupt, I'm going to say that there's this one story. I had this real fun discussion with my husband. It's about these two rivers. I'm not going to say too much, I want you to read it. But it's about these two rivers, a male and a female, in Sikkim, because it's from the Himalayas. So the Sikkim side of the Himalayas, where, the inwards they were their own person, but outwards they looked together and they wanted their love to kind of consummate. So whatever happened in that entire story, I'm not going to share, but what in the end, when they were supposed to meet, the male ego kind of took place. No offense to any gentleman sitting here, but the male ego kind of took center stage, and it kind of ruined everything that they had. So, I had this thing with my husband last night, and he says, you're reading a book on folk tales. Where did I come in? I said, because male ego. That's where it all starts from, right? But okay, everything eventually worked out, and he said sorry. And what I love about the way you have written this book is that the chapters are short, crisp, to the point. You give what you want to in terms of what the story is about, but you still write it keeping in view that the children of today are going to also read it. If it's going to be just simple ki aisa tha, aisa hona chahiye, this is the model kind of outtake of this, no one's going to read it. So I love the way you've done it.
Thank you. Thank
Which,
you, Pooja.
kind of brings me to a question before we even start on your book is, who is Mona? Since we are here, I want everybody to know what makes her happy, what makes her sad, how does she write? Tell us a little bit about you in your own words. We've introduced you, Wow has introduced you, but if you were to introduce you, what would you say?
I would just say that Mona is still a child at heart. Mona, Mona still seeks her parents somewhere in the stars.
Oh, that's
In the
cute.
best and the worst moments of my life, I still look out to a parent. That is maybe the real Mona. Mona has been a storyteller right from the beginning. I became a storyteller when actually I started flunking in most of the subjects in school. So I would always come back home and say, "Aaj bhi report card nahi mila." क्यों नहीं मिला? Because the teacher's pet died, or whose sir's buwa died. So
that's where you learnt your storytelling.
died. So very soon my grandparents actually brought me up in Haridwar. My parents had moved to England when I was 1 month old. So my grandfather at a very young age, he was very sure of one fact, कि स्टोरी टेलर तो तुम अच्छे खासे बनोगे. Then after the report cards also came home, so one day he asked me, have you looked at your report card? I said, yes, I have. Actually, I got it home. So he said, देखा है सब लाल 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 है. So I said, हाँ जी देखा है. क्या बनोगे बड़े होकर? तो very meekly I said, writer. He said, वो तो ठीक है लेकिन बनोगे क्या? मैंने थोड़ी सी और हिम्मत जुटाई, collated more of my strength. I said, writer. He said, नहीं वो तो ठीक है लेकिन बनोगे क्या? So when it happened the third time over, I understood that actually maybe this profession or this passion actually doesn't derive any respect from most of the people, because maybe it will not help me get the the bacon home, kind of a thing. But I really wanted to be a writer because I came from a very humble background. My grandparent, he was an agriculturist. My nanny was a homemaker. So very humble background. We didn't have a television or anything. So the only escape route, that escape route that I had were the books. The books from the library of the Delhi Public School that I went to in Ranipur. And I felt that how can anyone write so beautifully, make a story out of characters, and take you to those settings? People were actually holding my hand and taking me into a landscape, into an ecosystem that I was completely unaware of, and how my entire sensory tactile imagery came alive. I could see things, I could smell things, I could taste things, I could touch things. I could sense the entire ecosystem, the entire setting in its totality. And all the more reason I wanted to become a writer. So Mona essentially is an avid reader. She is a writer, and she is a true friend to people.
How beautiful is that? Can we please have a round of applause for that?
I think your parents should have been proud because things have really changed now. And when likes of Elon Musk and Scott Galloway are saying that storytelling is the most important thing in the years to come, I think the people are moving from technology to storytelling because that can't be taken over by the machines.
Absolutely. The human angle will be completely missing.
So the things
Because
have
you
really
connect, no, to people, right?
Through
Manoj ji? Like, through
storytelling.
a story,
Yeah.
you connect to each other.
Yeah.
And
And imagine the story about the hare and the tortoise. Everybody remembers that story. What was a takeaway from that story? Slow and steady wins a race, right? You still remember it. You still remember it. In fact, and if I were to open a chapter of any technical book or any academic book, academically rich, dense book, and I were to ask you, so what was that formula all about? And you would be completely lost, right? But as a storytelling and the gist of that story, you remember till now. And when did you read that story? Maybe about good odd 50 years ago. So this is what storytelling does. Storytelling is very relatable, and stories have afterlives. Stories stay with us.
they do. That's why when he gave the inference for technology and, Elon Musk, I think it's a very good one because literally, whichever field you are in, robotics, technology, everybody is coming down to grassroots level to talk in stories, build stories around whatever you want.
Yes.
So that's important.
Yes.
So coming to the book, do you feel like a personal connection to the Himalayas, as in, through your travel, through history, through family? Why specifically? Was there like an incident that provoked you to write? It's a very different topic that you picked up. Folk tales from the Himalayas, and the Himalayas spans across states, the entire northeast part of our country. So
Yes.
why this particular topic?
Yes, that's a wonderful question, Pooja. Why this particular topic? Yes, I was born in Haridwar, raised in Haridwar, did my schooling in Haridwar. It's only for my college that I then stepped out of the city. So, having grown up in Haridwar, we were surrounded by many people from the Garhwal and the Kumaon range. And of late, like everybody knows, for the past decade or so, there's been lots of migration from the hills to the plains, and people are going to various parts of the country and even abroad to seek work. Now, what happens? What happens when a major chunk of a society is moves away from their place of origin? What is it that they take away from that particular place? And it left me wondering that what happens to the stories, the folklores, the legends, the cultures, the festivals of these places. Because once these people are moving off to Delhi or Bombay or going to work as a cook in a place like Frankfurt, somewhere far, far away, they are not telling their stories anymore, and their stories will be deeply sedimented in the depths of some concrete and glass structure or the life that they will be adopting now. And the generation that is left behind, that generation will also be gone in another 15, 20 years. So these stories and these cultures will forever be forgotten. Somebody has to tell their story and also tell their story to a generation that may not be interested in folklores and legends. Now, how do you tell that story? First of all, this is an extremely intelligent generation out there. Now, and they are logical, they're very questioning. So, in the era of 5G, I'm not telling the stories of the gingerbread house to them anymore. So, I picked up these 20 stories from across the belt, the Himalayan belt, right from Jammu and Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh, so that the stories that were actually logical, the stories that made sense, the stories that were relatable with least number of characters, so that they have a stomach to love it, to digest it, and enjoy it. That is why these stories were it's extremely important. So same goes for the Puranas. The same goes for my book on the partition. That generation of storytellers who were actually telling those undocumented human narratives. That generation will be gone, and everything that we will know is from the textbooks.
Right.
And that could be biased. That could be morphed.
Yeah, that is true because see, this book talks. It's about a lot of customs, beliefs, and to a certain level, I think spirituality as well, right, Manoji? You would agree that it does have customs, beliefs. So a lot of research must have gone into it, and I'd love to know about that research process. What do you say?
In fact, I'm from the hills. देखिए ऐसा था कि हम लोग कोई ये अच्छा वाला माइक है जिससे आवाज़ थैंक यू थैंक यू when we were growing up हिंदी मीडियम से पढ़े थे कभी जोशीमठ में पिताजी की पोस्टिंग होगी कभी the only thing the target was English पढ़ के अच्छे अगर आपको कहीं आगे जाना है civil services में जाना है so one has to learn English my parents used to speak Garhwali but we spoke Hindi. I'm driving you to a point that how people are moving away from culture. Now, all these youngsters sitting here, you will be told, and you'll be moving to metros and all that. My children are living in Paris; they don't speak Garhwali, nor do I. But I was surprised to find now there is a story by you, Nursing and Dhana, जिसमें एक जागर है. जागर अभी आपने जब पांडव नाच देखा होगा कुछ बच्चों ने पांडव का नाच होता है जो अभी हो रहा था शुरू में. Now Jagar is something मतलब Jagar to awaken. And you have written ऐसी लड़े भैंस रेत उड़ी गई सूरज का रथ ढांका ढाकी गई ये सब आपने कहाँ से लिया कैसे आपको हाँ वही I mean we have not heard of these stories and you have gone to great lengths to bring it out and encapsulate it and bring it to the world. Now they are going to be available always. How did you do that?
So actually, lots of research went into it, and I'm so happy to know. I'm so delighted and honored to know that you went to lengths to bring this out. So lots of research went into it. So we were surrounded by people from the Garhwal and the Kumaon region, and also lots of classmates. During my Lady Shri Ram days, were coming from this entire belt, from the northeast belt. So they would, sometimes recite stories. So we also have a story. We also have a custom like this. So something that we felt was a very peculiar to the North Indian or a Punjabi culture over there also had a very strong bearing to something that was happening in the Northeast. So all those stories were actually, because I always wanted to be a storyteller, in case I flunked again in college, albeit I didn't. Then, so
I love the specification. We know to write stories have to be very intelligent.
So I was sponging in all those stories from all those people. And now I felt, when my publisher said that, okay, so you want to write folklores and about folk legends, what is going to be your USP? Why is somebody going to pick up your book? My answer to him was that I'm going to offer them something which they haven't read or known before. something which is unprecedented. Now he said, how are you going to make it unprecedented? I said, I'm going to use the terminologies, I'm going to use the folklores, the practices, the cultures that have taken hold because these stories are told in the Himalayas. So people must understand that it's not as if why Diwali is celebrated in such a way, or why this river is known by this particular name, or why the people in the hills catch hold of a cow's tail when they fear the presence of a ghost, right? And why those cultures have taken hold, why those practices have taken hold, I'm going to explain all those things. Now, with most of the folk stories across the Himalayas, the songs are very closely attached. The festivals are very closely attached to those stories. So in case I'm telling just the story and not telling about what's happened, the folklore or the song associated with it, then I think I shall be remiss in, narrating the entire thing
Because
in its totality.
I agree with you, because every folklore that you have mentioned in this book also has a few lines of the poem that they may have sung
Yes.
at that time. And that was fascinating, like,
Yes.
wow, it's something so different, if you were
Yes.
to visualize it, it just kind of takes you in.
Yes.
For
And
sure.
coming back to Manoj sir's question, he asked me that where did I get that from? So, sir, every time you're writing a story, which is like a real story is the story which has sprung from older generations, from the ecosystem, and we have sort of imbibed and sponged in these stories over the generations. So I see it like a 3D thing in my head. First is how a normal anyone coming from Garhwal, he could be a house help, he could be my driver, or he could be a manager in one of our hotels. How do they narrate a particular story? Because stories change as storytellers change. So with every new storyteller, there is something which is taken away and there's something that is added to a story, especially if it's a folklore. Because most of these things are smritis and shrutis. Whatever you have either heard from your parents or grandparents because they form the social backlot of the society, or something, a smriti, or something that you remember, and whatever the gaps that there are, like historians, we add to that. So the stories are changing with every particular step. So I would first of all hear it from a person who has no academic depth or knowledge of a particular story. अच्छा आप ये बताओ, ये कहानी है ना धाना की, कैसे थी ये कहानी? तो he would tell me something that go and speak to somebody else. अच्छा मालती, तुम्हारे गांव में ये कहानी है? हाँ है. कैसी थी ये कहानी?
So you went
They
to
would-
grassroots level to get those answers out. Because
Answers
they
out.
would know it, I guess.
They
living
would
in
know
the-
it. And then they told me that, these particular songs are sung. Because this was not given to me at an academic level. This was not what I got from my research. The second was at the academic level. Go to the libraries, do your research. So, okay, something like okay, my house help or my driver or my manager says that something like this still exists. But is he right, or this is just hearsay? Then do that academic research on that. Now, step 2 taken care of. The third step is the mosaic that I build in my head, where I bring in pieces from what those people told me, the human narratives, and with the academic research, and then what more I can do to make this text more appealing, especially for the Generation Z, because they are looking out for something they can't get on Google. Otherwise, you're not spending a couple of $100 on buying this book. Why will you buy the book?
No, it's absolutely true, because folklore can be mystical, it can be fantastical, and to appeal to the modern generation or the modern reader,
Right.
even say us in today's time, we all evolve, right? So to appeal to them, the book has to be written in a very different way. So the way you've blended traditional with modern, I think that is what the USP of this book is, right, Manojji? What would you say?
Mic खराब. Yeah, absolutely right. Now, out of all these youngsters, how many of you are concerned about environment protection? How many of you are troubled that trees are being cut? How many of you? Have you taken part in, we have something called DCF, Dehradun का जो हम लोग environment protection के लिए करते हैं, we take the march. Did you take part in that? Well, some of us, Ira is going to come here in the next session, and she's a great environmental, activist. We have stopped cutting down of 2,000 trees. So because we are getting older, not both of you, but I'm getting older. The future belongs to you. You have to protect environment, and the story of environment protection is very, it's at the grassroots of the folklore. And let me pick up. You are the lead discussant, but
Yes, by all means.
so there is a very nice story called Bhemata about environment protection. So there is this lady who doesn't have a child, and she goes and she strikes at a tree. कॉर्न का था पर कॉर्न पका हुआ नहीं है तो देवी रुष्ट हो जाती है. Tell us about that. It's about, you have to respect nature. You have to see that, it comes the seeds come to fruition and issues like that. So it's a very wonderful story which youngsters must lead, which talks about environment protection. So your point that how relevant it is very relevant if they learn lessons out of that.
Which is, yeah. But don't you think it is a bit, if I were to say, borderline superstitious कि जैसे आपने अभी कहा है, if we don't do this, this will happen. I don't want that. I mean, I don't think that is the.
It's not like that. It's a narrative. It's a narration.
Yeah, it should not be superstitious, is what I feel, right?
Because there's no directive that you can't do this. It's just that the story says so.
It's a folk
right.
story that
yeah.
this happened, so
Yeah.
she did that, so this thing.
But
happened.
in a way, I mean, just in.
Gods are not. If gods are superstition, which are revered all over the world, then this is superstition. Otherwise, no.
No, I agree with you, but when we're talking about folk tales, somewhere, Mona, I feel that superstition does play a part.
course, of
it does,
course.
कि like
भूतों की बहुत कहानियां होती हैं.
भूतों की
पहाड़ में.
होती है, and
हाँ.
even in this,
हाँ, भूत.
you've got so like. For example, that one story about the two birds, the mother daughter that become birds at the end. I'm sure there is some set of fear that comes into you ki if she hadn't done that, what? That superstition thing, do you think that is something that people may feel? Because see, every person that reads the book has a different take home from
course,
it, right?
of course.
You read it, I read it, Manoji will read it, the children will read it. So everybody takes something different. Different stories will touch different people in different ways. But what about the superstition part? Because some parts of it, yes, I also felt was like, I love this, but supposing I put myself into that person's place, and what if I didn't do it this way? Would it have been different?
And
Right.
one more thing, Mona, to answer her
Yeah.
question. The story also has another element which
Huh.
is very crucial, that you have to wait.
Yes.
Time, which youngsters might appreciate, that you will not get something before your time.
Yeah.
You have to be patient.
Yeah.
So that's a great story that, if you strike at, if you cut a tree before it is ripe, you're not going to
Fruit,
get-
yes.
So that
It's
time and
right.
patience.
Yeah.
So
So, Pooja and Manotsa, when I heard this story, so I heard this story from, there's a wonderful story behind this story. There's a backstory to it. So I asked him, I said, so Dayal Singh, ek baat batao, koi Bhemata ka bhi story hai? He said, हाँ. He said, इतना बढ़िया कहानी है, इतना बढ़िया कहानी है कि सारी रात भी सुनते रहोगे तो खत्म नहीं होएगा. I said, wow, wonderful. I've got a wonderful story to insert in my book. I said, अच्छा सुनाओ. He said, एक औरत थी, उसका बच्चा नहीं होता था, तो उसको वो बहुत रोती थी, तो वो खेतों में काम करती थी, तो वो मकई काटती थी और वो बड़े बड़े पेड़ों को काटती थी लकड़ी के लिए. तो एक दिन भेमाता आई और तो भेमाता उनसे बोली कि ऐसे मत करो. तो उसने कहा, सरू ने उसको बोला, द लेडी, सरू ने बोला अच्छा अब आगे से नहीं करूँगी. तो उसके बाद उसके पास 4-5 बच्चे हो गए और उसका घर खूब खिलने लगा, खिलखिलाने लगा और हंसी से उससे. आई सेड अच्छा फिर? ही सेड कहानी खत्म. ऐसे तुमने तो बोला था सारी रात सुनते रहोगे तब भी खत्म नहीं होगी, ये तो 1.5 मिनट में कहानी खत्म हो गई. सो ही सेड नहीं, ये इतनी अच्छी कहानी है कि लोग मुझे कहते हैं रात भर बार बार सुनाओ. आई सेड ऐसा तो इस कहानी में मुझे कुछ नहीं लगा. नाउ I was like replaying his story in my head. Now, every story has 4 elements in it. Every story has a characterization, every story has a setting, every story has emotions, and every story has a dialogues which explain the emotions. Now, I felt this damn story, which is a wonderful story and should be researched into. Why did he speak only about Makai? Why only about corn cobs, and only why about an oak tree? Why not about any other tree? So I said, everybody talks about these 2 things, or you also talk about wheat, rice, bargad, this, that, mango tree and whatnot. He said, no, only about these two trees. I said, why only these two trees? Now the human narrative had stopped over here very, very quickly, in spite of the overnight story writing,
1.5
telling,
minutes.
yes, session. Now my research began. And my research began that, in so many cultures, in the Greek culture, in the Egyptian culture, the corn cobs are the corn as a crop is a symbol of fertility. And oak is also a symbol of fertility and protection in many cultures.
that's why,
And
because of
that
this.
is the reason that they speak about these two. Now, as I spoke about characterization, the setting, the dialogues, and the emotions, now those things had to be inserted into the story, developed and evolved in the story, so that it turns into about a 2,000 odd word story. Because what I heard was barely 5 lines. And it turned into a story on environment protection. So that is where the author comes in, because what is the relevance and the validation that they are adding to the story as an author? Otherwise, if I'm writing what I hear from a Dayal Singh, or what my research tells me, I'm not an author. Where do I come in? I come in from those 4 elements. And the story actually is of this lady Saru, who does not have children, and when she goes and she starts shearing the corn cobs and the oak slivers, Bhemata, the mother earth, appears and says that, why do you take away my children before they are ripe? They are not ready for the world. Why do you do that? And that is why the moment your children are born, I take them
take
away,
them.
so that
Oh
you
my God.
understand, the pain that I feel when deforestation takes place.
How
So
beautifully said, really.
so this is the way. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we have about 5 minutes.
Yeah, but I have a quick rapid fire. Yeah. So, but before my rapid fire, Mona, one quick piece of advice to everybody in the audience. We have like a mixed audience. So, what would be one piece of advice for everybody in the audience when they read the book? What
When
should
they-
they expect? What should they not? I know you can't, kind of predict how someone's going to react, but something for them.
See, when
Hello.
the moment the book lands in your hands, it is your book. You have a perspective. You have every right to diss it. You have every right to call me up and tell me what is it that you like. You have every right to teach me how to write a better book tomorrow. You have every right. It's your book the moment it reaches you.
I love that male ego chapter, but anyway, Jay. Okay, my quick rapid fire for you. If you weren't an author, what would you be?
माय गॉड आई मेरे को ना बचपन से ना स्टेशनरी शॉप खोलने का बहुत शौक है.
Don't be funny, stationery store.
I mean, the day I fail as a writer or as a corporate coach, I will have a Mona stationery shop in Haridwar.
No,
come.
please, Mona, no,
Because
we are
as a-
not doing that.
As a kid, because I came from a very humble background, I used to really look at other children, with very fancy sharpness somebody got from America, or those erasers and all those things. And staplers, my God, nothing can equal those lovely
My
staplers that you get
designs.
today. And today also, when I go abroad, my suitcase is actually full of stationery.
Yeah, jaldi. Okay, one word answers. Something you love to eat.
Everything.
Arey, something, one thing. Rapid fire hai.
I wish my mother's dal chawal. I
Oh.
wish.
What is love to you?
Sanjay Verma.
So sweet. One thing you love about Indian folklore.
Originality.
We are absolutely
We are
brilliant
magic.
at it. Yeah.
We are magic.
One thing you would dislike about the India that it is today.
Dichotomies.
Okay, fair enough. Can we please have a big, big round of applause for her?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And if any one of you has any questions to Mona ji, most welcome. Especially, we talked about storytelling. We talked about the stresses that you are facing in college life, and looking for jobs and things like that. How you can get out of that from that perspective, or from any other perspective. If you want to ask her, most welcome.
You can take mine and return it to me once you're done. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
My question is, writing is basically a soul journey. So what keeps you motivated? Because in between we just lose that tempo कि लिखना है अभी और छूट जाता है बीच में. So what is the key factor which keeps you motivated?
Lovely question, ma'am. Ma'am, what's your name?
My name is Seema.
Seema. Seema, ma'am, actually, what sustains. Okay.
And she's wife of Digvijay, who is an ONGC
Yeah.
officer.
Okay. Okay.
And I happen to write the
Yes. Prastavna of my first poetry book.
Oh, lovely. Congratulations. Ma'am, actually, encouragement by the readers is something which sustains the motivation. If you're being encouraged, your books are being picked up, and people do come back and tell you, said, okay, this is an area of improvement, but you've improved so much from your previous one. And the book goes into the fourth print run now. So I think that keeps us motivated because you feel that you have something to say to the world outside, which is being lapped up by them, which they want to hear. And you are able to do it. You're succeeding in doing it. That is something that keeps me motivated. And secondly, ma'am, something about creativity. Anything that you write, even if it is not getting published, even if you're drawing a lotus or you're drawing a lizard, damn it, whatever on a piece of paper, whatever that you are doing did not exist in the universe 5 minutes ago. So you are giving out something to the world. And that is, I think, something that keeps me motivated. And of course, readers like you, when my books go out, it is amped up million times over. And many congratulations to you on your book as well.
Thank you, Monaji. I think we have been shown the notice twice. So we'll bring it to a close. So thank you very much, Monaji.
Thank you. Thank
Those
you,
of you
sir.
who want to talk to her, she'll be around. You can ask her. You can discuss things with her over a cup of coffee and things like that. And the
Yes.
selfies. So thank you, Pooja ji and Monaji from my
Thank
side.
you.
And thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Pooja. And thank you, Manoj sir.